If a kid is in the workforce, should they be required to pay bills at home? If they do, is that a millionaire move?
Okay, I don't think that parents, if you're in a position where you don't need a kid's income, I don't think it should be a necessary. Because if you as a parent has done right by your money, then it shouldn't be necessary for the kids to use their income to pay household bills. Now, if you want to teach the kid a lesson, they should be responsible for certain things, especially for if they have cell phones, they ought to be responsible for that. If they have, if you purchase a car for them, they ought to be responsible for the insurance. They ought to be responsible for putting gas in it. They ought to be responsible for oil change, so overall maintenance. I believe that's what their incomes should be used for them, for the things that they want. I hope that's clear. Now, in a household, and I like using Good Times as an example, if you're familiar with that TV show. In that household, all hands on deck. Everybody's income was needed. We spoke once with this attorney, and I'll put that video out. Many of you probably seen it before. We were talking to an attorney who was handling a foreclosure for us, and it turned into a quick homeschool lesson for the kids. He talked about how his parents made him pay them rent for his allowance. So I'm guessing he made, if I recall correctly, maybe he was making $100 a month in allowance, which I think that's a whole bunch to give a kid. But he had to pay a certain amount of that to rent his room. And if he didn't pay that, they made him camp out in the yard. And that is tough, but it also produced what we have today with him. He's a high-powered attorney, and he appreciates what his parents taught him. So I don't know if I would go that extreme where you're going to rent out your room, but I do believe kids should be responsible for at least those personal things like cell phone bill and auto insurance. So if you're in a position where you don't need their income, and that's the bottom line, what we talk about in Millionaire Moves, to put you in position where you won't need a income you won't be ghetto. You won't live in the ghetto like Good Times. We want to put you in a position where you can be like the Huxtables.